Hi, everybody. Oh, it's Sunday. Sunday Funday? Hello, friends. It's nice to see everybody. Hi. I don't love doing live videos, like you guys all know. Like, it's just not my favorite thing. I just prefer to post and I guess let everything do the talking for me. But here I am on a Sunday. Sunday Funday. Do I miss New York? Yeah, I totally miss New York. My boyfriend is up in New York. It's my home. It was my home for a very long time. So now I'm somewhere else. I'm in Myrtle Beach and I love it and it's nice. And believe it or not, I have more opportunities to source and make money here. So, and I have a really big house. So I'm not really that upset about it, to be quite honest with you. Let's see. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm so glad you guys came out. I know it's Sunday afternoon. I wanted to make sure that everybody that had questions and wanted to get on was able to. I know the UK people and, and obviously everybody in the United States. So let's get started. I know there were some questions that were sent to me. I know you guys have a ton of questions and I want to be able to answer all of them for you. There's just so much going on with Amazon lately. I want to talk about price tanking because I want you guys to understand how important it is, how serious it is, and how important it is. So the other day, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I posted a listing that I was on for $299. And the item was, I want to say like $140 to purchase. Amazon's fees are about $40 to purchase. Amazon's fees were about $40. So the whole thing total was about $200 and something total. And somebody jumped on the listing for, I don't remember what it was. I think it was like $209 or something like that. So it was just a couple dollars profit. I had it listed at $299, which would make me approximately $80 to $90 profit. But what in the world would anybody be thinking not matching me, seeing that it sells and make money for everybody? Beyond me, like blows my mind. So I was thinking about it and I realized that there are a lot of people out there that are untrained. There are a lot of people out there that don't have resources, that don't use Instagram, that don't use Facebook, and just wing it and just fly by the seat of their pants. And while they may think that that's great, and many, many, many people say on Instagram and on Facebook and everywhere else I've seen, they say, oh, you'll learn off of YouTube or you'll learn, doing it independently. And that may be great. And there are a lot of possibilities to learn independently. And I teach that as well. I want everybody to learn independently as well. But for me, as a seasoned seller, I'm not top of the line, I'm not bottom of the line, I'm right somewhere in the middle there, but I know what the hell I'm talking about. And when I see this happen, I know that it's somebody that hasn't been trained. I know that it's somebody that does not have the experience to understand what that actually means. And my friend Shannon, who everybody knows, I'm sure is on here as well, she can attest. People are drop shipping, people are coming on listings, people are doing things that are not on the up and up for us, real resellers that are really trying to make money, support our families, and be educated and spread the wealth and spread the knowledge and do whatever it is that it takes to make our community successful. Right now, our community is struggling. Our Amazon community is struggling. I watch people that sell on Poshmark, I watch people that sell on eBay. Their community comes together. They want to be put together. They want to make sure that they're all teaching and helping each other. Our Amazon community becomes so competitive, hyper competitive, that we all kind of lose sight of, well, I'm not teaching anything, or I'm not saying anything, or I'm not answering emails, or I'm not going to respond to messages. And that's really sucky. That's honestly really shitty. I work really hard to teach women and men as well, how to be better, how to learn how to do things the right way. Now, am I perfect? No. Do I mess up all the time? I'm never going to lie to anybody and tell them that I've never had an issue or I've never had problems. But when it comes to something as simple as matching someone's price, as opposed to undercutting them by a penny, by $1, by $10, by $90, what kind of sense does that make? My God, like it blows my mind. So if there's anything that you take from this call today, which is with this Instagram, before I even talk about questions and anything else Instagram related, please, please, I'm begging you, spread the word. Be a good Amazon seller. Be a real someone to look up to, someone that people can admire, someone that people trust and appreciate. And you don't have to teach them anything, but just match the buy box. Please. It's such an aggravating, frustrating. We work so hard. We work so hard. Whether you're garage sailing, Gary Vee's been pushing garage sailing really hard again. Whether you're garage sailing or shopping Goodwill, or you're going to retail stores, or you're doing online arbitrage, or even if you're doing private label products, anything, whatever it is, don't undercut by a penny. That's really just shady shit, honestly. It doesn't make you look good as a business person. It just makes it look like you were trying to undercut someone. And I still have the buy box on that listing, by the way. Sorry. Anyway, let's see if I have any questions, and then we'll talk about some questions that people had sent in. Guys, I have literally like 400 emails, messages in my DMs. No way I'm going to get to them. 0% chance. I figured this would be the best way to be able to answer some questions. Let's see what we got here. Oh my God, I'm looking at everybody that joined. Hi, guys. Tankers, damn tankers. Let's see. People are dumb. People aren't dumb. I think that it's just not knowing, like you can't call them stupid if you don't know. It's like anything else in life, there are people that will have a lot of knowledge and be able to share it and spread it. And then there are people that just don't know and just don't know what to ask. And honestly, I'm sure it's happened to all of us at some point. There's always something in the world or something that's happened in life that we're not entirely sure about, and we just don't know what to ask. We don't know how to go ahead with it, how to move forward with it. So Sylvia says after a lot of shipments, they realize they may have only broke even. Sylvia, I'll be honest with you. A lot of people that I watch their BOLO groups, I watch their price tanking, I watch the drop shipping, I watch all of these different facets, and I'll be very honest with you. If they break even, I would be really surprised. And that's scary to me because they don't know what they're doing well enough to understand that if they're going to break even or if they're going to take a loss, what that actually means to everybody else that's selling. And it's not going to be one person or two people or 10 people. It's going to be 100,000 sellers. It's going to be 200,000 people that it's affecting directly. People who need the money to feed their families or keep their electric on or, go on a vacation because they haven't had a vacation in 10 years or leave their crappy job. I mean, they really, truly don't know. And I want to advocate this so badly. Like I want to express this so I'm so emotional right now. Like it's so hurtful to my heart. I'm not a greedy person. I'm not trying to say, oh, well, let's everybody make $1 million and, and then forget everybody else that doesn't know. I want them to know. I want them to be successful too. But I also don't want to be hurt in the process. And I don't want any of you guys to be hurt in the process. And I don't want your family members to be hurt in the process. I mean, those of you that know me know that my parents were sick. My mom is still sick. My dad just recently passed away. And that meant a lot to me that I was able to work from home and control my fate, control my my time management, that I was able to spend time with who I needed to spend time with as I needed to spend time. My boyfriend, everybody kind of had a piece in this. And I wanted everybody to feel loved and appreciated and know how much they meant to me, no matter how long that they were with me. And this business has given me that opportunity. But when people come on and literally try to fuck up my show, like, I don't know how else to say it. Sorry. But people literally try to come on and like mess everything up. That's serious. And I take that personally. I take that almost as a direct offense. So if you know someone that's price tanking, or if someone ever suggests to you about price tanking, or if you want a price tank, please think about it. Take everybody's situation into consideration. It's such a serious topic. And please, guys, just from the bottom of my heart, know that you know the right things to do. You have the tools, you have the methods. Everybody that's on Instagram is teaching, is giving little tidbits of information, in whatever capacity they're giving. Allow them to give it to you. And if they're telling you don't price tank, don't price tank. Or if they're telling you don't share bolos, don't share bolos. I mean, it's entirely up to you how you run your business. Don't get me wrong. I won't tell you what to do. But if you know that it's something that's not right, Just don't do it. That's all I have to say about that. Drop shippers suck, Shannon says. Yeah, it's partially repricer settings as well. People that use repricers, they just price it low. This way they don't have to compete. But again, same concept, same situation. If you're pricing it low, you're setting your own repricer. Amazon's not setting your repricer. Repricer Express isn't setting your repricer. You're doing it. Just do the right thing. Let's see. Hi, everybody. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. Lisa says, thank you much for your class last month. I'm selling on Amazon for the first time in 2 years because of taking your class, and it broke my fears. Listen, Amazon is scary. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I'll never sugarcoat anything about Amazon or about anything that's gone on. I mean, honestly, I'm not like the biggest fan of Amazon. I'm really not. I teach it. I love it, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. There are a lot of policies and just things that don't make sense to me, and problems, and so many things that happen, suspensions, IP claims, suspected IP claims. Who wants to deal with that? I mean, I'm not a fan, honestly, I'm not. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the money. I'm grateful for the time again. I'm grateful for everything. The friends that I've made, all of you guys are friends to me. But it's not fun. It's kind of scary. And I don't blame anybody for having fears, honestly. I don't. You just have to kind of push through them and make yourself understand that, essentially you're still working for someone else. You're not working for yourself. This is us working for Amazon. And when people ask me what I do, I say I'm a reseller on Amazon. And technically, I'm like a foot soldier. That's what we all are. We're foot soldiers. We're on the ground finding product for Amazon to sell so that they don't have to buy it. They don't have to go around and scour. We're doing the dirty work for them. We're prepping stuff. We're bundling stuff. We're taking price tags off. We're shipping it. And they're charging us for all of this. I mean, they're literally charging us for all of this. So, yeah, I mean, it's not a glamorous job. Anybody that's lifting boxes, for fuck's sake, I don't even like to lift boxes. My back kills me sometimes, but you got to do what you got to do. And it's par for the course. And if I want to come home with, $10, $20, $30,000 payouts every 2 weeks, this is what I have to do. And I have to bite the bullet and just go for it. So, yeah, I know everybody has fears, and it's natural, and there's nothing you can do about it. But, eventually you kind of get over that. Let's see. Joe says, don't you love it when you create a bundle listing and someone comes in and tanks the price on it? Oh, Joe, that's my favorite thing ever. People do creative and find new ways to list and promote their items on Amazon, whether it be bundling or private label or whatever. But when some random Joe Schmo jumps on your listing and thinks that, they're just the bee's knees and they're smarter than everybody else and they're going to jump on the listing, it doesn't help anybody. It makes them look like a jackass. It hurts your business. It hurts their business essentially also. And karma really sucks. I'll be very honest with you. It's really, really true. It's really, really deep. Do I use tactical arbitrage? No, I do not. What percentage of OA versus RA? OA is online arbitrage. For those of you that don't know, retail arbitrage is RA. I would say the majority of my items are RA, I would say. I would say probably 75%, 70% are RA, and the rest are OA, but I mix it up. I don't have a specific goal or set of what I want to have RA versus OA. I just buy whatever I need to buy and make money off of it, honestly. The reason I don't use tactical arbitrage is because I know how to do it without tactical arbitrage. It's a lot simpler than everybody thinks. Let's see what else. Does Amazon have summer slowdown? So the truth of the matter is that summers can get slower depending on what you sell. Think about things in terms of replenishables or things that people need, like a necessity. People always will need toothpaste. People will always need deodorant, obviously, in the summertime. And those are things that will constantly and continuously sell, things that will not necessarily make summer slow down. Now, and food, obviously. Shannon does a great grocery class if you guys are interested also. But if you're selling things like pens, which obviously it's not time for school yet, or I don't know, anything, basically anything else. If you're selling winter jackets, obviously it's going to be a summer slowdown. Prime Day is coming up next month. I don't think they released the date yet, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't see any emails about it. I didn't see any, they do TV advertisements and everything. Prime Day is usually very, very big. And for the small community of sellers that I actually keep very, very close and teach, and we learn from each other, I don't think any of us have really had like a major Prime Day before. I think my Prime Days are pretty much similar to my regular days, maybe with a little boost sometimes, but I'm doing Amazon. October will be 6 years. Excuse me. So I don't feel like it's going to be skyrocketing for me, but man, I hope it does for all of you. Honestly, I do. Let's see. Sorry, I'm reading. Sylvia says she's trying to help spread the education on gross turnover, net ROI, return on investment, not to price tank, nor to share specific products. Hello, hello, because it messes up other sellers and their families' businesses. And that's the honest truth, guys. There's no other truth that I could spread. There's no gospel that I can spread. This is Mandy's Sunday Amazon Church, honestly, because this is the truth. There's nothing else I can say about it. It's serious. Let's see. Let's see. Do I create bundles for RA items? Yeah, I create bundles for anything. People have this misconception about me, and I think I'd like to clear that up now since you mentioned it. People always assume that I only do bundles, and that's not the case. I am probably 30 or 40% bundling, and the rest is RA and OA. I mean, bundling is a part of my business, don't get me wrong, but it's not the be-all, end-all of my business. It's not all that I do. It's not all that I teach. It's a small fraction of what I do, actually. It's probably a quarter or a third or so of what I do. I would not bundle Nike, just for Nick, Nick, whoever you are, Nick. I would not bundle Nike. Let's just not play with that. What tool do you suggest to guide with keywords? There are tons of tools out there. You can actually go onto Google and type in, keyword research, and a whole bunch will show up. Most of them are paid subscriptions. Honestly, I don't want to guide you to one specific one because I don't want you to have to pay for certain ones if you don't like it or you don't want it. I don't want to be blamed for it, to be quite honest with you. But there are tons of them out there, and you can find them real easy. Let's see. Joe says, a year ago tomorrow, you took my first class. Joe, it's our anniversary. What are we going to do? Did you buy me flowers? I hope so. No, I'm just kidding. Happy anniversary, Joe and Mandy. That's so weird. I'm newer in the last year on Amazon. Do you recommend services to help get you ungated in categories? Thank you in advance. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can get ungated. There's tons of ways to get ungated. You can try it yourself. You can go to add products and see if you can ungate yourself. There are people that actually you can pay. There are services that you can pay for. They are a little bit costly. Eventually, over time, everybody will get ungated. I mean, I would say after 6 years, I think there's 2 brands that I can think of off the top of my head. 3 brands that I can think of off the top of my head that I'm still gated in, that I can't get ungated in for whatever stupid reason. Those are Versace, which obviously I don't think I really want to sell Versace in the first place. Versace, Lego, and Wowie. And Lego and Wowie are partially because I don't sell toys. I know a lot of you guys are probably even you more experienced sellers are probably ungated in Wowie and Lego. But for me, I don't sell toys. I'm very, very funny about toys. I very rarely sell them. I very rarely am into them. I don't know much about them. I don't have kids. So it's hard for me to keep up with the trends and the times on it. I'd rather sell things that I know about. So yeah, so Lego is like my Achilles heel, quite honestly. I just want to get approved in it, just like I can say I got approved in it, basically. I'm not going to pay for it. I'm never going to sell it. So there's tons of people out there that you can find that'll help you get ungated. I mean, eventually over time, everything gets ungated. It's just a matter of how long you want to wait, honestly. It's so annoying when people post items on their feed, essentially running a category from so many uninformed Amazon newbies, then tanking them. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing like with Bolo groups. Like, I know a lot of you are probably part of Bolo groups, and I support anybody that's trying to run their business like that or make money, or, you got to do what you got to do, right? But for me, showing people your cards is like essentially putting a nail in the coffin for me. Because if I'm listing something like this one item that I started, this video about, if I'm listing something at $2.99 and I'm saying, whoa, this is a great bolo, guys, go jump on it. Why would I want to sell it at that point? What's going to happen to me if 10 people are on that listing, even if they don't price tank it, okay? Even if they all stayed at $2.99, what's going to happen? You're going to have 10 people sharing a buy box on an item that sells maybe 10 times a month. So everybody's going to get one sale a month. Now, what happens if you're on Instagram and you have 8,000 followers or 9,000 followers or 15 or 20,000 followers and they all buy it? And you've got 500, 600, 700 people on a listing? No, thank you, not for me. For your RA, is there a card you love for points? No idea what that means. Write me back again. I have no idea what that means. I took your April class. It was amazing, but still not click for me. I go outsourcing every day and I'm very confident by the end of the class, but it makes me wonder. To be honest with you, Amazon doesn't click for everybody. It takes time sometimes. There's no right or wrong answers to any of this. The more time you spend doing it, and I know it's going to sound really ridiculous because you hear this 1,000 times from anybody that's ever sold on Amazon, anybody that teaches Amazon, the more you scan, the more you'll see. And, that's the basic honest truth that I can give you. It's not me pushing anybody off and saying, oh, go scan and maybe you'll learn something. It's the truth. And to be honest with you, I have issues with that. I'll go out and I'll go to, let's say, TJ Maxx or something, and I'll walk in and I'll feel super confident and I'll feel like, oh great, I'm gonna make $1 million here, blah blah. And I'll go in and I'll start to scan some stuff and be like, I don't feel this. And I'll just walk out. And then I think to myself, I'm like, why did I leave? I scanned like 10 things. It doesn't even make sense to me. Why would I waste my own time not doing my due diligence in what I need to do to make money? You walk in one way and you leave it, depressed or sad, and it's okay. It happens. But the more you put into it is the more you'll get out of it. And that is my motto. That is what I've always taught. That is what I've been taught by really, really, really good mentors. The more you put into it is the more you'll get out of it, honestly. How am I doing? I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you doing? It's okay if you're late, guys. I'm going to save it anyway. I'm going to save it on IG. So there were a couple questions that people sent me. Feel free to drop questions in the chat. I'll get to them in a minute. So a couple people asked me some questions on Instagram on one of my posts, and I wanted to let you, see some different sides of what's going on with Amazon and answer some more questions for you if I can. So people ask me about supplies. What supplies have I used to start Amazon? What supplies do you need to essentially start your business? And the truth of the matter is I'll always tell you the same thing. It's a cell phone, a printer, a computer, whether it be a laptop or desktop, and a couple $100 to honestly get you situated, because you need labels and you need paper and you need ink for your printer, because that stuff runs out really, really quick. I don't pay for programs. I've never, ever paid for a program. I've never had a reason to. I don't want to. I just don't. I don't feel the need for it, especially if you're new and starting out. I'd like you to just start to work on your own, start to work independently, and learn Amazon. Honestly, learn Amazon Seller Central. There's so much information on it, more than you can imagine. Somebody asked me about editing listings that they wanted to change a listing that was already up. You have to actually ask Amazon's permission to edit a listing that is not yours, not one that you created, and you have to send them the reason why, and then they'll tell you whether or not it gets approved. But I don't like to change listings. I feel like if there are other sellers on it, Amazon won't even change it. But I would not just change listings for the sake of changing listings. I would rather do a new listing and just be an independent, honestly. The next question was, somebody asked me about how do you find higher priced items? It's a really simple answer. You go to higher priced stores. Higher priced stores will get you larger yield. It will cost you more out of pocket. So if you're working with a limited budget, let's say you've got $500 for the month or whatever, and that's got to be for your your supplies, your Amazon, your etc., whatever it is that you've got going on, I would not go into Saks or Lord & Taylor or Barney's or any high-end store or Harrods or anything and start to purchase, high-end food, high-end shoes, high-end anything. So just work towards your budget. Work towards growing the business and being successful at the level that you're at. I think that was part of my problem in the beginning also. I think that's why I was a slow starter. Some people actually kind of made fun of me about it because I didn't really understand a lot of it, and I did think I was going to make a lot more money faster. Honestly, I did. I thought that it was going to be a much quicker process for me, and it wasn't. And it's still a growing business. It'll always be a growing business. But yeah, I didn't want people to think that I was a slow learner. So I was kind of like just buying stuff and not making the right choices. So know what you're buying, make good choices, make good decisions, and don't go past your threshold, if that makes any sense. Don't overbuy, overspend, or try to overcompensate. You will run your own business at your own pace. Don't feel like you've got to jump to high priced items to bring in, a $20 profit when you can buy something in the dollar store that's going to make a $20 profit. Those of you that know Debbie, Keep Calm and Posh On, she's actually a prime example. She doesn't focus on Amazon. She focuses on Poshmark. And I think she does some eBay also, if I'm not mistaken. She's not on the class, so I don't want to speak for her. But she found some items that were relatively cheap, and she sells them very high profit margins. I mean, like astronomical profit margins. And, you don't have to necessarily buy expensive to make more money. That's the truth. Somebody asked me what my goals are, and I thought that was really interesting, and I wanted to talk about that because, we all have different goals in life, and I didn't go to college. I'll be very honest with you. I didn't go. I went for about 3 months or something, and I hated it. It was the worst experience I ever had in my life. I hated school in high school. I hated school in elementary school. I hated school in junior high school. I was just never a fan of school. I know this is going to sound really cliche, but I was born a hustler. Like my family were hustlers, and my father was a hustler, and he taught me, and my mom taught me how to hustle. They taught me how to work and make my own money. And at 14 years old, I had a full-time job in addition to school. And 16 years old, I was working, full-time and full-time school. So my goals right now are not to be rich. My goals are not to be a millionaire. My goals are not to be on lavish vacations and buy cars. It's not me. My true honest goal is to just have the luxury of being content where I am in my business and in my life. And I know it's going to sound like really like whatever, like it's just so boring. But I don't want to be rich. I don't. More money, more problems. Totally true. Totally true. I just want to be content where I am and know that I don't have to stress about my bills being paid or, my mom being taken care of or, my boyfriend needs, something or whatever. I want to buy him something nice for his birthday or, or somebody's got to go to the doctor or whatever it is. You just don't want to stress for stuff like that. That's my goal. That's my honest to God goal. Is money nice? Yeah, it can be, but it's not everything for me, and it shouldn't be everything for you guys either. There's so many more things that are important. So next, somebody asked me FBA versus FBM. FBA is fulfilled by Amazon. FBM is fulfilled by Mandy. No, just kidding. Well, yeah, kind of. Mine are fulfilled by Mandy. Fulfilled by merchant basically just means that you send the packages out yourself to your buyers. Fulfilled by Amazon means that you ship your items over to Amazon and you let Amazon do the fulfilling for you. I don't recommend anybody with a new account to do fulfilled by merchant. I don't think that you should start that route because one negative feedback or one irate buyer or one broken item or one lost item could potentially mean that Amazon starts to view your account as a little funny. And you just don't need that. You don't need that aggravation, especially if you're just starting out. It can be a little sticky. So my suggestion is as you begin and as you start to grow and as things start to progress, then you go to fulfilled by merchant. You can start to fulfill your own items if you want to. It's a lot of work. Honestly, it's a lot of work. But, if it's something that you feel that, you'd like to do, a lot of us do it already. Some of you that sell on Amazon and Poshmark, you already fulfill your own items. And that's totally cool. But Amazon is very different. Amazon is very special, and you have to treat it like with kid gloves. You have to be like really decent with it, calm with it. You can't anger it or upset it, or, it kind of bites you back a little bit. And as a new seller, you don't want that. So Fulfilled by Amazon would be my suggestion always, especially if you're new. And then as you grow, start to gain feedback, start to get leverage, start to make more sales, start to make more money. Then Amazon trusts you as a seller. And if you have an issue, they kind of have your back a little bit more. Versus if you're just a brand new seller, you kind of look a little shady to them. Those were just some of the questions. I'm going to read through some more now. Let's see what else we got going on. Somebody says, part of being successful is not letting your mind get the best of you and staying confident. Absolutely. This business can drop you to your knees. Again, I don't lie to anybody. I won't tell anybody anything that's not the truth here. Some people get shaken to the core with this, and I don't blame them. I've been shaken a couple times. I've had an issue with a buyer who was actually a competitor last year, and he tried to take my business down because he didn't want me to compete against him anymore. And it took me 6 months to get my business back into cash flow positive. 6 months. Some of you can talk about being suspended. Some of you can talk about being deactivated. Some of you can talk about, trying to recuperate bad feedback. It sucks sometimes. I'm not going to lie to you. It's tough, but you have to stay positive, and you have to understand that this is a business that you work for. This is somebody that you work for. You work for Jeff Bezos. You're his soldier. You're on the streets. You're making him money. You're giving him money. You're doing everything for him. And in return, you're getting compensated very well, and freedom. And I can't think of anything better than that, honestly. Let's see. House tour, maybe another time. My house is dirty. I haven't had a chance to clean today. I've been so busy. Honest to God, everybody keeps saying, the summer slump. I've had a sick May. Like, May has been sick for me. I'm literally bouncing off of walls, doing shipments 3 or 4 times a week. I'm doing probably 70 or 80 merchant fulfilled packages a day, in addition to my Amazon, my FBA, in addition to shopping 3 or 4 times a week, in addition to all my other household responsibilities. So May has been really, really crazy. When and why did I move from New York? Ooh, it's getting personal now. So my dad had died in February, and it was really tough on my mom and I. My mom had breast cancer. She got cancer 8 years ago, and she's had a really rough go at it. Really, really, really tough go at it. And when my dad passed away, it became very hard to function and focus. And when you have constant reminders swirling around you all day long, like, you go someplace and you relive a conversation, or you see something that reminds you, and it just triggers. And I've lived in New York my whole life, and I'm a New Yorker. I'm never not going to be a New Yorker. No matter where I am in the world, I'm always going to be a New Yorker. But when you have these constant battles in your head about, am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right moves? Is all of this, coming at me for a reason? You have to kind of stop for a second and think about it and say, well, what can I do to make things better? What can I do to move on with the sadness and the fears and the guilt and all of these things that come along with being a survivor? There's nothing you can do about them, unfortunately. And my mom wasn't doing well. She honestly wasn't doing well. So I said, you know what? I'm going to get a house. I'm going to go somewhere and I'm going to get a house. And ironically, there's a whole big long story that goes along with it, which I'm not going to tell today because we're kind of, coming close on time. But there were signs that brought me here. Very, very, very strong signs. And as I'm still living here, it's only been 2 months now, I think. As I'm still here, I still get signs every single day. And that this was the right move and this was the right decision, and things are falling into place again. So I feel very confident here. I have so many more stores to shop at. Like, you can't imagine how much more I can buy here. Pricing is pretty much the same, but there's just a ton more stores. Honestly, like stores that I've never been in before, and I love it. I think it's fantastic. I do miss New York. I do miss my friends and my family, and my guy is up there, and hopefully he'll be down soon to live here with us. And that'll be the culmination of everything, I guess. That'll be the true full circle of life kind of thing. And hey, it took me 40 years to figure it out. It took me 40 years to do the full circle, and I hope that that's the way it works out. Somebody says, I sent you a DM last week. Put me in, coach. That's funny. If you scan something it's not on Amazon, can you make your own listing with your own price? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't suggest it necessarily for newbies unless you have some training and some background on what you're going to do and how you're going to list it. But yeah, if you want to do it. Absolutely. As long as it's not in Amazon's catalog, you're allowed to list it. Can you add a variation to a current listing? Yes, you can. You can look it up on YouTube. There's some very easy directions, but be careful with variation listings. There's been a lot of problems with Amazon not liking variations that are not listed by the actual manufacturer for multi-packs. So just be careful. Just keep your eyes open for things. You have to keep reading. Someone says, thanks for doing this question. In order to make a new listing or bundle set, I don't know, that's the end of the question. You can finish writing that. I'll read it again. Do you think it's a good idea to ask customers for feedback? I know you can ask just once. I have a product that has been selling well for 2 months. No feedback until this week. Someone left a 1-star. If it's an FBA item, you can request it to be removed, which is part of the reason why I suggest doing FBA and not FBM. Yeah, I mean, you can ask for feedback. It's not going to be the end of the world. If they're going to leave you negative feedback, they're going to leave it to you whether or not they want to, whether you ask for it or not. I've learned over the last 5-something plus years that regardless of whether you ask for positive or negative feedback, people are always geared and always want to leave negative feedback, but they don't want to leave positive feedback. And I think that goes for me as well. I mean, if you think about it, think about how much stuff you buy on Amazon or from Staples or Office Depot, Office Max, and then they send you those annoying emails after and say, oh, how did we do? What do you think about, your purchase? Do you want to talk about your purchase? Man, I don't want to talk about my purchase. I just want to be left alone. I want to enjoy my ink toner for my printer that I just got. I want to be left alone. I don't care about your feedback and your other sellers, buyers, whatever. But when I get something that's broken, or I get something that's not the way it's supposed to be, or shipped poorly, or the box was broken, or things are jammed up or spilled out, yeah, then I write something. I mean, it's just par for the course, unfortunately. And I'm glad you have a product that's been selling well for 2 months, because a lot of people don't have that. So you're actually very lucky. Let's see. In order to make a new listing for a bundle or a set, do I need to purchase a UPC? You do. I get into that when I do teaching. It's a lot to talk about, in just a short amount of time that we have, obviously. Excuse me. But yeah, there's certain parameters that you have to follow and certain guidelines you have to follow, whether you're using a UPC or if you're using GTIN exemption. It depends. There's a lot of different factors that go along with it. Any tips on how to scale to the next level doing RAOA? Yeah, I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again, and probably everybody that you talk to will say it. You go out and you work. You go out and you scan. You don't stop until you find hits. I mean, there were times when I first started that I was just buying stuff to buy stuff. And that was probably the worst thing that I could have done. Because I didn't really understand the concept of scanning. I didn't really understand the concept of what I needed to do, excuse me, to better my business and to learn how to do this. So once I actually got out into the street and I realized, okay, this is what I need to do. This is how I need to, to move on. And this is how I need to keep searching. And by the time I started to scan, the very first item that I found that was actually a major hit, and I'm not talking about it sold once, I'm talking about I sold $30,000 of it the first month I found it, was one item at Target on the shelf by itself in a pretty package. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to any of this. There's a guy that I follow on Instagram who does, excuse me, Walmart or something. And all he does is scan for clearance. I mean, all he does is just looking for clearance all day long at Walmart and all these other stores, and he finds hits all day long, literally all day long. So yes, if you can find something, you just start to scan. You'll see the difference. You'll find stuff immediately. Don't give up. Somebody says, I got my merchant fulfilled privileges taken away. Can't mess with the overlord. For real. Amazon doesn't play. What is a variation listing? A variation listing is just a listing that gives you different options to buy certain sizes, certain colors, certain flavors, etc. So for example, if you're selling a shoe, you've got size 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's a variation listing. Or if you're selling chocolate, you've got white chocolate, dark chocolate, milk chocolate, that's a variation listing. When it's all on the same listing and you have the option of selecting whatever it is that you want. Let's see. Is there a new chart? Is there a new rank chart for 2019? I'm pretty sure there is. I think I've seen one. Yeah, I have. You can go to Google. You could type in Amazon seller chart. I used to hand out Reezy's old one. I used to like Reezy's old one. I think that was for 2018. I don't think that was for 2019. Yeah. Does anybody else have anything else they want to ask me? This is your opportunity. This is your chance. Do you use premium placement with FBA? No, I do not, but I have used Seller Fulfilled Prime, which is super interesting because you get to pick the regions that you want to ship to. Like, for example, when I was living in New York and I was shipping out to California for Seller Fulfilled Prime, the shipping costs are like $20, $25 every time you ship it out. So your profit margins just completely diminish. But when you select a region, when you want to just do East Coast or something that, you can ship for like $6, $7, $8 for priority, and you make a good amount of money. But yeah, I don't use premium placement with FBA. So I received an email from Amazon saying my items were returned due to misfulfillment promise. Why am I taking a hit when it was Amazon's fault for the return? I asked Amazon about it. They said they're not at fault. They are at fault. What happens is after 45 days, you can request reimbursement for something that they did that was their fault or the carrier's fault. They in turn get money reimbursed by the carrier, or you can get, or they get reimbursed by the carrier, or the carrier reimburses you. 45 days, you need to wait until after the return comes back, and then you can request it. Their return policies and their refund policies towards sellers have become really interesting lately. It's always been a no return policy on grocery and beauty items. And then over the last 2 months or so, if I request after 45 days for my refund, I've been just getting a lot of static, a lot of canned responses, a lot of static. So I don't know. Honestly, I would tell you to fight it. If it's something that you fulfilled, then obviously you can't. But if it's something that Amazon fulfilled, I would say just keep fighting until you get somebody that you can talk to. Let's see. When you're scanning in a store, do you try to scan as much items as you can or only clearance discount items? I actually don't scan clearance. I know that's going to sound really weird as a reseller, and I just don't find clearance interesting to me, and I know that I can't replenish it at that price. So for example, if I go to Target and I find deodorant for $1, and it'd be the greatest score ever, and I can buy 10 of them and whatever that's there. But what happens after the 10 sell? And then I have to go and find a new product again. It's not necessarily worth my time. Now, am I skipping over the clearance section because I don't want to make the money off of the 10 deodorants? No, absolutely not. I'm scanning everything I need to scan, but I don't focus on clearance. I don't go to Target, Walmart, or any other place specifically for clearance or discount items. But I know people that do. Like I said, there's the guy on Instagram. I can't think of his name. I'm totally spacing out on it. But he scans specifically for clearance and, and glitches and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, everybody's business model is different, and that's super important to understand, because what's good for me is maybe not necessarily good for you. Maybe you don't have a larger budget to spend, or maybe you don't have time to scan a million items and you'd rather just scan clearance, or maybe you'd just rather scan at sales, or, I mean, it's whatever fits you best. I don't have the right answers for anybody. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that my method is the best method and only do my method. It doesn't work like that. It's not true, and I wouldn't want to mislead you, honestly. Do what you feel is best for your business. If you have extra money and you want to go to a high-end store, or if you don't have any extra money this month and you just want to shop clearance, I mean, there's nothing I can do to guide you, unfortunately. That's just a matter of your personal things that are going on, your personal stuff going on. I have some trouble listing bundles when it comes to a brand. Do I list according to highest value item? I'm sorry, I'm not talking about bundling here. Sorry. What about the email we received from Amazon saying that we could sell in other countries? Do you advise we follow and do that? If you're an experienced seller, you absolutely should. I mean, I've gotten a lot of money from selling UK, Pan UK, which is UK, Italy, Germany, France, Spain, I think. But it depends. I sell in Australia, and I'm considering doing the India one. I don't know if I'm going to or not. It's a lot of work for me. I'm still kind of backed up on my American my American money. But I do Canada sometimes, and I have not done Mexico. But I mean, I would love to do them all, to be quite honest with you. I don't suggest it if you're new. It can be really daunting when you have to fill out customs reports, and when you realize that that shipment that you thought was only going to be $12 actually becomes $72. Yeah, it's not fun. So again, entirely up to you. You want to do that, if that's your business model, then go ahead for it. What if you find a product that's not on Keepa or Amazon? I mean, you're welcome to sell it. Amazon lets you list on Amazon freely, so if you find an item that's not in their catalog, by all means, you can list it. Any advice on how to move forward? I think you're still talking about the question that you had earlier about the refunds. I mean, you could contact them. I mean, that's all you could do is just keep fighting it. Keep sending messages, call, do what you got to do to keep going with it. How would you recommend finding people to hire other than family to source RA? Okay, so this is actually really interesting. I started with a family friend. I actually started with my best friend. Those of you that know my story, my mom was sick in the hospital. My dad was well. This was 8 years ago. And my best friend came over and she yelled at me because my house was full of stuff. I mean, like, it was just everywhere. It was like inundated. And I was always at the hospital. I was always worried. I was at work. I was sick. It was just a mess. And she just said to me, Mandy, we got to get this shit out. We got to get it out today. We got it out and it sold like almost immediately. It was like the craziest thing ever. And it was the truth. It was like so weird. Checks in, sold, checks in, sold, checks in, sold. So from that point on, I said, okay, well, clearly I need help. I'm not going to be able to do this on my own. And I wound up hiring a family friend's daughter who was just like 16 or 17 years old, something like that. And super helpful. I mean, super, super, super helpful. Smarter, younger, faster than me, obviously, and just opened my eyes to a whole new world of things. And then I realized that I need external help. I need to start teaching people how to shop. I need to teach people how to start doing listings and all this other stuff, because obviously 2 people were not going to be able to run this business on its own. I hired a VA about a year ago to do my listings. Man, does that take a ton of pressure off you. If you do a lot of listings, or if you do a lot of computer work that's manual, or bookkeeping that takes time, or data entry, or if you use any inventory lab or anything along those lines, man, get yourself a VA. They work usually from like the Philippines or from India, and super inexpensive, super efficient, super on time. Like, you don't have to worry about like them being late or not coming to work because they want the money. Yeah, and it's been so helpful. It's taken so much pressure off of me, honestly. I think I have my VA do I don't know, maybe like 100 listings a week, 50 to 75 listings a week. She does a lot of listings in addition to other back end work. So yeah, and then for home, for my office, this is my office. This is for my office. I actually just put an ad out on Craigslist. Whatever, I don't give a shit. I have no shame. You want to come to my house? Come to my house. I'll make you lunch. I don't care. Do Do you keep your price and let the price tanker sell out, or do you jump off the listing? Man, that's tough. That's what the whole beginning of this conversation was about. That's the reason I actually wanted to do the live, to be honest with you. There's no right or wrong answer. Honestly, Ryan, you do what's best for you. If you feel like it's better for you to get off the listing, return the item or whatever, it's just a really, really sucky situation, honestly. There's no right or wrong answer to that. I stay on. I wait for them to be done. Eventually, Target or wherever they're drop shipping from or wherever they're buying their stuff from sells out, and then I can sell it. It really depends on if you want to pay monthly fees, storage fees, if you don't want to pay fees, if you can return it, if it's returnable, if it's past expiration date. There's tons of things to take into consideration. So, somebody was asking if I have a favorite credit card that gives you the most points back for your purchases. I figure with as much volume, do you have a favorite? Yeah, I mean, Citibank has a really good one. You have to have really good credit. I don't know of very many. I use TD. TD has one that I use that I like. That's my bank, and then Citibank. Those are the only two that I have that are cash back. But Ebates is really big for me. There's one called the Giving Assistant, which actually gives money to charity in addition to giving you cash back. So you can select the percentage that you want to give. I give to Memorial Sloan Kettering, because both of my parents had cancer. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of them out there. I can't think of the top UK cashback, something else. There's some other ones. There's a ton of them. FedEx lost my stuff, and Amazon giving me less than what I paid for the entire shipment. Is this common? Again, it varies. Some people get full amounts. I usually get full amounts, but I've been with them for a really long time. I think newer accounts have a harder time getting full cash back. But if you prove them with a receipt on what it's worth, then they have to honor that. So I would push the receipt factor. Pull out your receipts, start going through them, and show them this is what was in the box, this is what I paid for it, this is what I should be reimbursed. Fight for that. What's your target ROI you aim for? I don't have a target ROI. I usually don't list items that are less than 200%, 300% ROI. I don't play around. Do you mail your products to those countries, or does Amazon do it? Some of them I send out to Amazon directly. Some of them are actually people that I work with in the UK that do the mailing out for me. So I found an item ranked 21. It's a 5-piece item. Other items are available to sell from this company, but not that 5-item one. Is it the brand maybe not allowing since it's a new design? I don't know. You have to check the listing. If they're the only ones on the listing, then I would assume that they have some sort of lock on it, that they don't want other people to sell it. I scanned an item that was gated. 2 days later, I scanned again, and I was allowed to sell it. Now Amazon sends me an email, says, I can't sell that item. What can I do? You have to take it back. If Amazon's telling you can't sell it, try to get ungated. If you can't get ungated, then you have to just pull it back. There's nothing you can do. What VA do I suggest? There's tons of companies out there. You could just go onto Google and type in VAs, virtual assistants, and tons of companies will come up. Lori says you're still working. Lori, you've been working on this project for like 5 years. Get to it, girl. Drop shippers are the worst. What is your plan for split shipments with the recent Amazon update? I split shipments all the time. I never ship to one warehouse. It's not worth my time or energy. So listen, guys, we're about to end a few minutes from now. I know some of you have asked me about doing another course. I don't know if I'm going to be doing one, especially a beginner one. It's really hard for us because Shannon, Joe, Debbie, and we spend a lot of time doing it. But I will be doing an intermediate one. And if I do decide to do another beginner one, it'll probably be one more before Q4, because I won't be doing any for Q4. So you guys, I must have like 300 or 400 messages in DM to go through, and I imagine most of them are about that, and a lot of your comments are about that, and I apologize that I haven't been able to get to everybody, but I will at some point. What % of time do you spend on RA versus OA, or how do you create the same time to do both? Whatever makes me money. I don't care. I'm not going to separate it, divide it, or make it less or more. I'm not going to limit myself. Why would you want to? The more I can make, the more, the easier it is for me to move on to the next items or whatever. But yeah, I don't limit it. I don't say what percentage of time. I don't have a specific amount of time or a specific percentage that I use. So guys, I want to thank you for joining me today. If I do wind up doing a beginner class, I will announce it on Instagram. I promise you. When I'm ready to do the intermediate class, which I hope will be very soon. I will announce that on Instagram also, and Shannon and Joe and Deb, I know will be part of it as well. Do I use advertising only during Christmas? I use pay-per-click. I just feel like you get more traction. That's it. I know you guys want the intermediate class. I'm working on it. We're working on it. We're working on it. The beginner class as well. So thank you guys. Thank you everybody for coming out today and taking time off on your Sunday to see and sit and talk with me. I hope I wasn't too annoying and too emotional and, Sunday vibes kind of thing. But, I'm hoping that you guys are super successful. Take everything I say to you into consideration, please. Again, your business is your business. Nobody's going to teach you or tell you what to do ever. But don't price tank. I think that's the best way I can end this call. The best way I can end this conversation is please just don't price tank. Guys, have a great day. Happy Sunday. Bye.